Our next guest is the restaurateur and bake-off star who is now swapping the tent for the festival this summer.
Yeah, and of course, Dame Prue Leith will appear at the world's leading literature event, the Hay Festival, on the 1st of June in her first ever live performance where she promises that nothing is off the menu. And she joins us now to tell us more. So, Prue, it's called Nothing in Moderation. So what can we expect? What revelations can we expect to get?
Well, I just gallop through my life, really, and then I do that in the first half of the show, and then in the second half, I take questions from the audience, and I've promised them that I will answer any question. So I had to say, because I wrote an autobiography which did tell all, and so I don't think it would be fair to say I won't talk about anything. But to be honest, I don't think I've lived such an extraordinary life. I've certainly had a long and wonderfully interesting one. And I've done an enormously lot of different things. People mostly think I've done all my life is eat cake. But I've done a lot of work.
Oh, no, Prue, you're being very, very humble there. You are very esteemed. You are a broadcaster, a writer, a cook, a chef. You're a restaurateur, a writer, a novelist. You have really done it all. I can imagine that this is going to be the most wonderful event. But how are you feeling? Because this is actually your first live event, isn't it?
Well, no, it's not my first live event because I went all over the UK and with this show. This is my last of the show. So, this is your last chance to see me. And I've actually done 36 appearances from Belfast to Edinburgh to everywhere. And I must say it's been one of the best experiences of my life. I've absolutely loved it. And it's so extraordinary because I got into it almost by mistake. I met the producer at a lunch and he said he does all Joanna. He's called Clive Tuller, and he does all Joanna Lumley's productions, both telly and film, and also live. And so he'd just come back from a tour with Joanna, and he said, "You should do one of these." And so that was 4 years ago, and so I brooded on it. When I met him again, we said, "Well, why not do it?" So I am. And the funny thing is that when I went to university, I went first of all to drama school because I thought I'd be an actress. And the reason I didn't go on with it and I'd swapped to doing other things, most of them unsuccessful, it has to be said. I had to go at everything before I hit on food. But I was too frightened. I found the stage terrifying. But this time I really loved it.
Oh, and after 36 events, I'm sure it's been absolutely brilliant. I need to ask you about your very special role during the Coronation, and you worked closely with the Duke of Edinburgh to taste that Coronation quiche together.
Yes, I know. He turned up there was an event to publicise the Great Big Lunch, or what it was called, the Coronation Big Lunch, and I was involved in that. And so they decided that I should be the judge of the palace's quiche. Well, I tell you what, if it had been utterly disgusting, what would I have said? I would have had to say it was completely delicious. But it was completely delicious. It really was. It was a very good quiche. And unfortunately, all the photographs of me in every single newspaper was the same one, which were taken by Reuters or someone. And they were of me sniffing the quiche. I've got my head, I always try to smell food. I've got my head down. I've got my head practically in the quiche, and I look awful, so I didn't like that.
Well, I've actually got the photos in front of me, and I can tell you now, you don't look awful, but you do have your head down. You're not wrong. Tell us about the next series of Bake Off, because that's coming up very, very soon now, isn't it?
Yes, we're in the middle of filming it now. I come to Hay and then I go straight back onto the set to do the next one. So, it's going to be good, I think. I'm not allowed to tell you anything about it, as you know. But as always, the bakers just astonish you. Everybody always talks about that show as if it belonged to Paul and me and the presenters. Actually, it's always about the bakers. The bakers are, year after year, they just come up trumps, because first of all, they're very good bakers, but they have such personalities and you get really fond of them. And I can quite understand why the audience is so addicted.